Hey loves, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to a new series on the channel. Welcome to the book club. Atomic Habits, what is it about? It is about making small changes in your life that are going to help you either stop a habit or create a habit. And there is the 1% rule, which says that if you improve something for 1% each day in a year, it comes up to, I'll put the calculation there. And if you do the reverse, it will come up to next to nothing. Numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie. So yes, let's get into the review. The first thing that I caught onto was the habit loop. I'm reading from my book. Let me see. Very studious. We learned about this in psychology when we were learning about behavior. And it's actually learning. The topic is learning. So we have Pavlov and we have my psychology lecturer is gonna kill me. But let's just go with Pavlov. They were teaching dogs tricks, basically. And they used a cue, they used a craving, a reward and response. So basically in the experiment, they would ring a bell, then bring food, and the dogs will salivate. So the salivation is a craving in this particular habit loop, and the food is the reward. So once they removed the food and they just rung the bell, they saw that the dog would still have that salivation, which is the craving. So the dog associated the bell with food. That is how you learn a behavior, a habit. And this is the same way you unlearn it. You bring in you remove the craving, or you remove the reward, or you remove the response, and that's how you unlearn or you learn a habit. I hope I explained that well, but all my psychology babes know. So the second thing that I noted down was, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Pointing and calling reduces mistakes because it raises the level of awareness. So he has in his concept something that is called the habit scorecard, where you are supposed to list down every single thing you do in the day. Everything. If it's waking up, brushing your teeth, going to the bathroom, every single thing. And then you are going to weigh it, whether it helps you to reach your goal or it is doing the opposite. So I do have my habit scorecard because I'm a good student. But yes, so it's a list of everything I do in a day, in a normal day. Things I do regularly, basically. And I have to figure out if it's good or it's bad. But if you don't list it down, you're not making it conscious. So if you subconsciously reach for your phone every time you have a break from work or from school, it's not really something conscious that you're doing. But if you write it down, and you also write down the amount of time that you use on social media, then you will see if it's beneficial towards your goals or it's not. Implementation intention. I can't read my own handwriting. Implementation. It's implementation intention. I couldn't read it. Implementation intention. So, when situation X arises, I will perform Y response. So, I will behavior at time in location. So, if your goal, like mine, is to continuously get healthier, then you have to specify the behavior you want to do, the time you're going to do it, and where you're going to do it. So for me, in the last 26, 27 days, I have been running every morning at a specific time. You have to list down what you're going to be doing. So Even if you don't do it, you know what you're supposed to do. But if you leave things to chance, then your day just goes by like that. Habit stacking. Yeah. So after your current habit, I will new habit. So gratitude. After I sit down to dinner, I will say one thing that I am grateful for that happened that day. You are definitely going to eat dinner. In normal circumstances, you're going to sit down and eat dinner. The moment you sit down, you express your gratitude towards something that happens. If, being more grateful is part of your goals for the year. So create a behavior that you want to do towards your habit and stack it with a behavior that you do anyway. So this is a very important point when it comes to creating habits. The people you surround yourself with and what you surround yourself with are either going to be helpful or detrimental towards the habit you're trying to create. So we tend to mimic the habits of three groups: the close, the many, and the powerful. So the close, obviously your close circle, your friends. If your habit is to read more and you create a book club, then you're encouraging each other. But if you're the only person who reads and everyone else wants to do something else, that might not help you. The many would be what the whole group is doing. So, what's trendy at that point. We always see that. Okay, maybe right now what's trendy is buying a house or buying a car or buying fashion over set. So we will follow the many, and we also follow the powerful. And that's why social media influencing now is such a good profession, because people do follow the powerful. In this aspect, I'm referring to the people who have the most followers, who get the most comments. Brands work with them because they know the power of the influence that they have. And if they're trying to create a habit of slimming teas, then they will give that to the social media influencer to influence, their following. Okay, so this point I'm just going to read out because it's quite long, but it is essential. Changing your mindset about the things you want to do makes them more attractive. If you change from I have to wake up at 6 a.m., I have to work out, I have to work, and you change it to I get to wake up at 6 a.m. People are dying every day, and they don't have the opportunity to wake up. So express gratitude for that breath that you take. The next one is I have to work out. You get to work out because there are people who have sprained their backs, they have lost their legs in accidents, but you have all your limbs and you get to work out. Actually, there are people who don't have all their limbs who still work out. So it is a privilege to be able to do what you want to do. And I have to work. I get to work. There is so much unemployment in the world, and when you have an opportunity to actually make a living and do one or two things for yourself, even if the salary is very low, the fact that you can buy yourself ice cream without asking someone else for money, you have to be grateful for that. I'm sorry, I went on a tangent because some of these things really hit home for me. And another mindset is about finance. Living below your current means increases your future needs. So it's very hard for people to save. It's very hard for me to save because if I see a shiny thing, I want to buy the shiny thing. But if I save now, it's going to be better for me in the future. If I save and I can invest, then I'm going to be able to afford more than what I can right now. So it's a change of mindset. And then create a habit that gets you in the mood. So for me, it's definitely music. Any time that I need to work out, I have specific songs that get me going. I have specific songs that I play when I'm tired, but I still have some reps to do. So with me, I get into game mode with specific songs. If my playlist is not right, that workout is going to be horrid. Oh, and then this one too really hit home for me. Being in motion as opposed to taking action. I am a planner. There are so many things that didn't come into reality, but they stayed in a book, like one of these, because I was putting things in motion. I did the budget, I looked for the suppliers, I was in communication with them. Okay, this is the amount I need to start this business. I didn't start it because I actually didn't take action. I have a fear that I'm trying to remove, and that is the fear of failure. So I've mentioned this before when I was talking about my license, that it took me so long to get my license, not because I couldn't get it, but because I was afraid of failing. Did I fail? No. I've had a license now for 13 years. Yes. So just go for it. Go for it. And then the next point is you need to rearrange your life to create less friction for a good habit and more friction for a bad habit. So, for example, if one of your goals is to take more supplements, then you need to put them next to your bed. In the evening, you put your bottle of water there, you put your supplements next to your bed. That's the first thing you do when you wake up. You don't forget. This is the example I was talking about. This happened to me the other day. I had a stressful day. I wanted to have a burger and fries and a milkshake and all of that good stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. I couldn't order the stuff in time for me getting back to work. So I did a lot of errands in between my break. I took a longer break from work, but then I had to start work. So by the time the food would come, I would already be working and I was starving. So I was like, okay, I'll make some noodles and then I'll put like vegetables in them, fish. It's gonna be nice and healthy. I got home, I was so hungry that the only strength I had was to put a bowl of meal prep in the microwave. And I ate healthy that day. I'm not saying having every other thing that I was gonna have is a bad thing, because of course we know with 75 rocks, we are doing the 80-20 rule, balance. But I created less friction for a good habit. Okay, so the next point is what is rewarded is repeated and what is punished is stopped, which is exactly that dog experiment that I was telling you about, because there was a point where I think they were electrocuting the dogs. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, there was punishment involved in that as well. Whatever you do that is building towards a good habit, make sure you have some sort of instant gratification, because when you are doing a bad habit, it has instant gratification. So usually with good habits, your results don't come immediately. They'll come after a few months. So if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to get tone, if you're trying to build muscle, you're not going to see results the first week that you work out. What you're going to feel is a lot of pain. But when you don't work out and you're having a burger and milkshake and fries, I'm sorry, but I'm actually thinking about it. Today is my cheat day, so I'm trying to figure out if I'm gonna have it or not. But when you have that burger and chips and fries, immediately you're gratified. Because if you didn't know, things like fast food are addictive because they produce dopamine and serotonin, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. If any of my psychology lecturers are watching this, I'm sorry. But anyway, you have to create some instant gratification. So every time you save money, take an envelope and label it as what you're saving for. For example, if you're going to be saving for a holiday, when you put $50 in that envelope, you label the envelope holiday money. So you already know, okay, this is satisfying because in a few months I'm going to be able to take this holiday. Or every time you lose a kg or you gain a kg, depending on what your fitness goals are, you buy yourself a new gym set. Instant gratification. Another good point is to have some sort of a habit tracker. Easiest way to do this is to have a calendar. So for example, I am doing 75 rocks, and for 6 days in the week I have to work out. I get to work out. So if I had a physical calendar, I would be crossing out the 6 days in the calendar. Of course, I would break on a Sunday, but on Monday I'm back to it. So whatever it is you are doing, don't break the chain. Continuously track your habit, continuously work towards your habit. So the last point is, the greatest threat to success is not failure but boredom. The only way to become excellent is to be endlessly fascinated by doing the same thing over and over. You have to fall in love with boredom. I was running for a month, more or less. So in the next third of 75 rocks, I am going to be trying out a new application. And when I was doing 75 hard, I would switch challenges. I did the Mr. London challenge, Chloe Teen challenge, a little bit of Mad Fit. So make sure that whatever your goal is, you continuously make it interesting, or you fall in love with the boredom. But for you to be successful, be continuously fascinated by the same thing. Okay, so that was the first edition of book club. Please let me know how I did. And also, if you haven't read Atomic Habits, it is one of the best self-help books that I've read in a while. So I recommend that you do. And leave a comment down below if you did read it and if you have implemented anything in the book. I know I have. And also, was this a good way to do the book review? Please let me know. And thank you so much for watching.